You're back listening to 1700 and we are sitting here with Philly.
Hey.
Philly, thanks for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the moment, what new music you've got coming up? What's happening?
Yeah, I just signed to a new label, Bad Apples Music, so working on my first project through them. My first debut album actually is, so yeah, looking forward to it. Working on the whole production side of things is going to be handled by Momo from Diafrix, so you know, looking forward to it and having a lot of fun.
So yeah, like that's Bad Apples is Briggs. That's the Briggs umbrella.
Yep.
Diafrix, you're working with some huge names. How does that feel?
Amazing. It's, you know, it's always reassuring when I'm working with artists and you know, given this opportunity to be signed with Bad Apples and release my album through them, and to know it's going to be, you know, in stores and, you know, it's,
like
it's
a
crazy.
physical
It's crazy.
copy.
A physical copy.
Oh,
So you
that's
know,
cool.
it's insane to just know that sort of thing, and I think it's kind of helped me create a really good project, and I'm really looking forward to releasing it and having people hear it for sure.
Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely. Could you tell us a little bit more about Bad Apples, like as a label?
Yeah, so Bad Apple Music, it was designed, you know, from Briggs, obviously, and he wanted just to use his platform to bring up some other young artists that he thought deserved a shot. So, you know, him being in the position he is, he's just like, yo, you know, I'm gonna do this. Like, what haven't I done? You know, dude's been on TV, you know, doing a lot of TV stuff now. So he designed this to not only help us record albums and put it out, but also mentor us and teach us about the music industry in Australia, and so we can pass it on to whoever else, you know, is coming up. And I think it's kind of built as the same as the Aboriginal culture. The way we learn about culture and everything else is just kind of like storytelling and passing down all these different things. So yeah, it's definitely designed through that.
Wow. So is there any like little novelty things you've learned about Briggs? Like does he go for a pedicure on a Wednesday or?
Oh man, nah, Briggs is chill. Briggs does whatever Briggs wants to do. I think that's just how he is, and you know, he's like his own boss. He's the boss man, so he just does whatever he wants to do, and that's cool, man. That's something I can really look at and be like, yeah, cool. I want to be that dude.
Yeah, it's so good to be nurtured by that as well. And coming back to that aspect of like handing it down, we were chatting before about the label of a role model. Like obviously, it sounds like you guys will be role models to the next kind of generation of people who come through, but. Yeah, what do you think of people kind of when they're succeeding in a certain industry, them then becoming a role model?
Yeah, well, you know, I've spoken to a lot of artists about the whole role model label, and Jimbler being one, and you know, we got into an in-depth conversation about it, and you know, it was crazy to hear for the first time that sometimes being labelled as a role model was an unfair labelling, because I kind of always looked at it as me wanting to be that dude for the Indigenous youth. So to hear someone be like, yo, you know, it's really unfair sometimes for some people to be labelled as a role model. It took me a while to adjust and really think about that, and I'm like, yeah, you know, because at the end of the day, all these people want to do is just do as well as they can.
They want to do their thing.
Do their own thing for themselves. You know, they have they don't want to be that role model. So it's unfair sometimes to be under that label. You know, and it's a good thing but a bad thing at the same time, because once they are labelled as that role model, they got to think about what they're doing, and they don't really get to be themselves, because at the end of the day they're just going to be thinking about, oh, what if I do this wrong or do that wrong?
Well, yeah, they're being watched if they're in the limelight.
Exactly.
But for you, it's different, because that's been always central to your vision, yeah?
For sure. You know, growing up in my household, I was adopted when I was 18 months old, so my household had 10, 15 people living in there all the time. I was always the youngest, never had any, you know, male role models in my life, so everyone I was living with was, you know, committing crimes and doing a lot of bad things, and, you know, I love them for the world, but, you know, they just got caught up in that cycle of just walking down a negative path, and it was just because that's all they knew, sort of thing. So, and then from that, I was like, yeah, you know, I want to be that person for the youth to look up to. So from the age of 14, I decided I wasn't going to smoke or drink, and you know, pay attention in school and all the rest. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's quite evident in "We On," the song that we're just about to play, by the way, and it features Steven Motlop.
Yep.
But yeah, like in the theme of this film clip, it's kind of like you're mentoring this young little football player. Tell us a
Yeah,
little bit
so
about that.
little man in the video clip, that's my little cousin.
Ah.
Nathan Lovett Murray is his dad, and you know Nathan's my cousin as well. And
Can I just stop you there? We want to hear
Sure,
all about it,
sure.
but we'll be back after this short little break.